I don't wanna know if you're only here for a moment, seeing all I have, loving what I got. I just hope you like it. It's always good to know that you've been by to send a little smile. Even if I'm gone, you know it won't be long. I'll see the love and send it on. Even though you may be far away, I still know how you're doing. 'Cause you share all the laughter, joy, and pain. So I can, oh, send a little love on through, send a little love on. Let you know I'm thinking about you, let you know, oh. Send a little love on through, send a little love on. Let you know I'm here for you, let you know, oh. Been a little while since I read the writing on your wall. I'm thinking that it's time I take a look around, and I know I like it. Even though we may be far away, I still know how you're doing. 'Cause you share all the laughter, joy, and pain. So I can, oh, send a little love on through, send a little love on. Let you know I'm thinking about you, let you know, oh. Send a little love on through, send a little love on. Let you know I'm here for you, let you know, oh. I may not know all the words to say, but I can be here for you. It doesn't matter at the end of the day, as long as we stay true. Send a little love on through, send a little love on. Let you know I'm thinking about you, let you know, oh. Send a little love on through, send a little love on. Let you know I'm here for you, let you know, oh.
Up, down, up, down, up, down, up and down. Elevator up, down,
Yeah.
up, down, up and down. Elevator up and down, up and down, up and down, up and elevator
This shit hot.
and down, up and down, up and down.
Show me what you're working with. Take it because you want it. Don't need permission because you already own it. Don't need to fake it because you want it. Don't need permission because you already own it, own it. Bring me back, back, you can bring it back. Bring me back, back, you can bring it back. Bring me back, back, you can bring it back. Bring me back, back, you can bring it back. Bring me back, 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 back. Bring it back, 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 back. Show me what you're working with.
Down, up, down,
Yeah.
up, down, up and down. Elevator up and down, up and down, up and down, up and elevator
This shit hot.
and down, up
righty. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you may be in this magical, mysterious, metaphysical planet of ours. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc, live here on the Intuitive Facebook page. How are you this Friday? Spring has sprung. We are here. This is going to be my last show for a little bit. Today I'm going to be talking about the constant progression of self. A lot of transformations taking place. I'm actually getting ready for a life-changing, very serious surgery on my low spine, my low back. So I won't be here next Friday. So you can always catch the shows over on my YouTube channel, Soul Adventures. You can always just go right here to, marclainhart.com. My YouTube channel will continue to spit out videos. Thank you to the subscribers of the channel. You've now pushed us over 11,000 subscribers. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Appreciate that. And also thank you to the inspired listeners. Our podcast now, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can look for Inspired Living or Inspired Living Radio. Usually there's a picture of me or the Intuitive Prospector. And we are now on 2 lists for podcasts, best podcasts, inspiration and now spiritual. So according to FeedSpot, which tracks podcasts, and there's a lot of podcasts out there, but we've now moved on to our second list, which is spiritualism. We're not in the top 20 yet, but it's just nice to be recognized, to be on a list, right? To be featured. We had a great podcast on Wednesday, had a lot of great discussions. Again, you can go get that podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcasting, whatever platform that is on. We are streaming through all of them now. If you got an Alexa or an Echo, you can say, Alexa, open up Inspired Living Podcast, and that'll play the latest episode if you like. Today, good morning to Maureen. Good morning, Tara. Good morning, Jennifer. Lianki, good morning. Kara, good morning to you. Let's see, a couple of you tuning in today. Happy Friday to you, Wendy. Good to see you, my friend. Today we're going to talk about a few things. One, starting with the eclipse. It was on Monday. Had some just interesting stuff take place. And also going to talk about, where's my mouse? There's my mouse over here. Going to talk about constant progression of self. And that's something that came today during a discussion that I was having on Fridays before the show. I meet with my spiritual counselor / guru, Thomas. We have some very enlightening conversations, some very, he helped me today with some focusing meditation for the journey, because I've got a lot of transformations that are changing. I'm actually having some life-changing events, but at the same time, that is life, right? Life is about change. That is the only thing that is consistent in our life, is the change. And so, grab your coffee, grab your tea, grab your protein shake. I'm in my pre-op week, so I have to drink a bunch of protein pre-op cocktails for healing. I also have, it's forcing me to use my little spirometer, which I have to blow into for pneumonia, because I'm going to be going under for, anytime you use anesthesia or you get a tube down your throat, they want you to practice with the spirometer to blow. So I have to do that this whole week leading up to next week's surgery, and then of course after. But hopefully, fingers crossed that this new procedure, they're going to use a robot. The technology has come a long way just in the last, even with the last 3 to 5 years, the technology has really gotten improved to where the type of surgery that I would be having, I would usually be in rehab for almost a year. But because of the technology and less cutting, more evasive technology, not cutting into the tissue and the muscle, the recovery time is 2 to 4 months. So it's literally half the time. So imagine what the future, because I was actually told this surgery when I was 32. I was actually told by my surgeon at that time to just wait because medicine's getting better, technology's getting better. And he was right, because the surgeon doing the surgery on me is his understudy, right? He still comes in and watches the surgeon do this cutting edge technology, including the disc they're going to put in me is a 3D printed titanium. It used to be plastic back in the day with cadaver muscle. So I'm going to have to think of, anybody got a good name for, I'm going to be having somebody else's muscle fibers in my body. A cadaver muscle is for those, if you don't know cadaver is somebody that has passed on but has donated their body to science, organ transplant, harnessing tissue to help us that are in the living of, children of matter. So it's it's going to be somebody else's tissue in me, in my vertebrae. And I said, let's name it. Let's name the tissue. Let's give the cadaver muscle a name. So if anybody has a great name, I'm all ears, because that's going to be something that's going to happen with this 3D printed disc, with cadaver muscles and tissues that will come up through the bottom of it. It's got a mesh on the bottom, and then they're going to fuse my L4, L5. So I'm getting this whole new back. Think of an old rickety bridge, 50 plus years. This bridge, literally this bridge between life and death, in the physical world and the unseen etheric world, has endured a lot of, wear and tear, like tires, right? 8 years in the Coast Guard, 13 years as a firefighter, EMT. And so the wear and tear, well, of course, with age and gravity, it's just, I'm kind of looking at it as a way of getting this old bridge shored up so I can continue on for the next 50 years, right? So today's episode of Metaphysical Meetup with Marc Live is, I want to start off with a quote from Lao Tzu. So for those of you that are on the journey of finding the diamond within, or the many diamonds and gems that are all around us that have yet to be revealed or discovered, is what he talked about. If I let go of who I am, I become who I might be. And I've known the saying for a long time. I love Lao Tzu, I love Rumi, I love all the gurus from our past, and the ancients that continue to inspire us today. But this part of my journey, this transformation, and today's message is about the constant progression of self, right? To know thyself, to transform, just like the caterpillar, as it's, deliquefying in the cocoon, is literally thinking in its mind, this is the end of the world, and then emerges from the cocoon as a beautiful butterfly, where the butterfly says, shit, this is a brand new beginning. And that's where I'm at. This surgery has been, when you're in medicine, I was talking with my several doctors with all my appointments that have been going through, and we were laughing and having a conversation about, we're really good when we're in medicine, or first responders, and some of you can relate to this. We're really good at taking care of other people, our families, our friends, our fur babies, but we're really shitty at taking care of ourselves. And that's so true. Ask a doctor, ask a healthcare provider, ask a nurse. It's only until we're forced to really take care of ourselves that we go, okay, because we have a sense of knowing, right? We know what's coming. I know what's coming. I'm getting prepared for surgery. I'm pretty much in a bubble for infection control. I have to do my breath work. I have to get my lungs ready so I don't have pneumonia. And I know what it's like to be tubed, because I used to do it. The anesthesia part for me is always so interesting. Like, we know I'm in good hands. I'll be honest with you. This whole procedure, the doctors, the nurses, Providence up in Everett has been awesome. I get daily texts every day, making sure I'm following my flow chart. But, with anesthesia, I know I'll have a good anesthesiologist, but they know how to give it and to administer it, how much based on my body weight, et cetera, et cetera. But we're not sure exactly how it works, right? And so when you go into anesthesia, it's kind of like this unknown. And for me, very sensitive anesthesia. So we were talking in group, and actually one of my senior members gave me some great advice right before they give me the anesthesia. Tell your spirit to step out, let them work on the physical body. And then as I come out of the anesthesia, ask my spirit to come back in. So we're going to give it a go, right? But if I let go of who I am, as you see today, I become who I might be. And that's from Lao Tzu. And it's literally the transformation of moving into a new concept of life, moving into a new direction of life. Now, good morning, Elena. Good morning, Jane. Good to see you. Good morning to my team. I have a cadaver bone in me. Never thought to name it. Tara, yeah, well, let's have a name for it, right? Let's do this together. Let's name it. Hey, Odith, good to see you. Happy Friday. Laura Everall, Benoit, good morning to you. Good to see Miss Benoit. Leanke, hello to you. Jennifer, good morning to you. Good to see you. We got some people dropping in, so thanks for dropping in. Today we're talking about transformation, but we're also talking about the constant progressive of self. This is something you may have noticed. I've become a little bit skinnier with preparations for my surgery. I had to lose weight. But there was also a big thing that I was working through with a life change of my career. And after 23 years of federal service, after 14 years of working for our veterans, next Monday on the 15th, which is tax day, I say goodbye to all that. I put that behind me. I moved because of this surgery and my medical conditions. I've been pushed into the direction of early retirement, which, if you would ask me 6 months ago, I would have never envisioned that, right? But I know in the journey of transformation to become who you were meant to be, I knew that at some point would have to be left behind. So it's been an honor and a privilege to serve our veterans. Um, Next Monday that ends. But what was interesting this last Monday, which was the 8th, which was also the great eclipse of 2024, and I hope you all got to witness it either firsthand. It wasn't in Seattle. We didn't have totality. And of course, imagine it being sunny in Seattle. It wasn't. It was cloudy, so we couldn't see anything. But just watching that spiritual event, for me, it was very spiritual in the fact that um, when you have that 2 minutes of totality, even when you're watching it on the TV, I watched it going through the East Coast, starting, they started down in Texas, going up through New York, Niagara Falls, Maine, Canada. So I've watched it a couple of times on that totality. You saw people getting marriage proposals right at the height of totality. But it was it's such a reminder of how small we are in this universe. And for those of you that have followed my journey for a long time, there's just been some interesting things on that Monday, which is an 8. And from a numerology, 8 is all about manifesting. I'm a life path 8 in numerology. If you don't know what numerology is, look it up. It's about, as far back as we can look back, it's about 11,000 years old. It's the cousin to music. It's Pythagorean. It's mathematics. It's numbers. A lot of what we run our world on is based on numbers and mathematics. And we've always said that mathematics would be the universal language of contacting, something bigger than ourselves, right? And so on that Monday, we have the great eclipse going on, but it's also the same day I signed my official paperwork to be released from federal service after 14 successful years, and because my injuries didn't allow me to do the job and the narrative that my former bosses wanted me to, and that's fine. We have disagreements all the time. We can agree to disagree, but it's like, thank you for pushing me out of the nest. Thank you for coming from a place of gratitude, because this has forced me to go in a different direction that I didn't think. Start working on my second book, continue to podcast, continue to do more live events, more readings, more consulting. I continue to still work at the hospital as a contractor. So it's given me, and have some early retirement on top of it, right? So the situation wasn't what I thought, wasn't great, but I still come from a place of gratitude to keep moving forward, right? The constant progressive of self. Focus determines reality, where you're going with your journey. I could look at the eyes of negativity for the discrimination and the cruelty and the bullying tactics that did take place the last 10 months of my career here. But I choose not to, because that focus only brings my energy down. So I focus on the gratitude that I'm no longer having to do that, and the gratitude and the inspiration to move forward, to do things that I like to do as the intuitive prospector, to be in service, to help people, to get out in life and see what this world holds for us, the many mysteries. But on that Monday, the synchronicities of everything, it was not only just a great eclipse, it's a number 8, so it's a new moon. We are in retrograde. So for those of you who don't believe in Mercury retrograde, just go look at the old Farmer's Almanac from the 1700s. I've been doing radio for 8 years, and every time we're in retrograde, even today, just trying to get on with my counselor, we had an issue because he's in the Dominican Republic. Damn him. Kind of enjoying his retirement. But we even had a problem connecting. But even on the radio show on Wednesday, internet radio, I actually told my guests, if we drop out, call back in, because we are in retrograde, and we a lot of times have problems with signals connecting to the servers. And it's for 8 years on the air, we've seen it. Sure enough, her call dropped, and so I had to talk about her book for about 2 minutes, and then we got her back. But so we have retrograde, we have the great eclipse of 2024. It's a number 8, which is all about manifesting. It's about bringing in, it's that business minded, bringing into reality things that you've thought. And for me, it was a very specific day, because I also signed the final paperwork of my moving out of federal service and being released from federal service because of my medical conditions, which is fine. But it's interesting because then I get an alert on my email and it says, oh, you've got a package coming from HQ, which is in HQ for the Inspector General's offices in DC. And I'm thinking, gosh, they've already packed up my desk and sent it. Okay, well, that's fine. And I get this package, and my wife Jenny brings it up to me. I'm up here in the studio, and she goes, "You got your package?" And I'm like, "What? Did they just send me my mouse and my mouse pad because the package?" This is my mouse pad, by the way. The Boucher Gardens up in Victoria, beautiful gardens. But I'm like, the box was only this big, and I'm like, "What the heck is this?" Like, that's not my desk. That's not my pictures. That's not my belongings that I had in the office for 14 years. So I rip open the box, and believe it or not, on the same day, now think about the synchronicity wise, it's a certificate that I finally received. It was dated March of 2023 from last year. The Inspector General, Mr. Missile, had signed the document or the certificate. It was my 20-year certificate, and you get a big 20-year pin that says Office of Inspector General, Veterans Administration, right? And I just sat back and thought to myself, what an interesting day. It's a number 8, Mercury retrograde, new moon, Eclipse 2024. Signed my official paperwork legally through my law firm, and then I get a package that is literally my 20-year certificate, my 20-year pin. And it was kind of like, one, you can't make that stuff up. The synchronicities of it were just crazy, but it was like a confirmation to be like, yeah, you're done. Go live the rest of your life. Move on from the VA. Thank you, VA, for the 14 years of federal service and being in service to our veterans. But it was just like the confirmation, and it comes back to today's message about the constant progression of self. Because again, I could live in that focus of negativity, but I choose not to and move into the focus of positivity and new adventures, new soul adventures. But all of that to happen on that Monday was just kind of like, that's the language that we pay attention to, not just communications here, but for those of us that are empathic or sensitive or intuitive or psychic or mediums, we understand that there's a lot of different languages and patterns. If you pay attention to the patterns that I talk about, you start to see a bigger picture, and it's very cool. But I had talked to my former manager. I had asked him for this certificate. Probably, I'm like, hey, can we get my certificate? I never got it. And then I forgot about it after all the stuff I've been going through. And then here it is on that day that I'm signing my paperwork. So it was cool. And, Einstein talked about coincidences and synchronicity a lot in his journey and his writings. And he always said it was God's way of remaining anonymous, but there was a deeper spiritual meaning or connection. We as humans just go, oh, we debunk it, right? We're like, oh, that's a coincidence. That's a synchronicity, if you will. But there is usually deeper meaning. Even Einstein saw that. Nikola Tesla talked about that a lot. And so I just kind of think back to that. Oh, there was a great coincidence on that day of manifesting change and manifesting again, like Lao Tzu had talked about. Change is going to happen in life, right? Life, I've learned, is an acronym. Learn it from experience. And the only thing consistent in life is change. It's all about how you react or don't react and what your focus is on the changes that are coming at you. So, getting prepared for the surgery. Some of you may notice I'm a little bit skinnier because I've been working to lose weight, and will continue to lose weight after the surgery and have a new body, new mindset. That's part of transformation. Being a overweight, depressed caterpillar moving into an inspirational, skinnier butterfly has really been the physical transformation. I've done a lot of transformations in my journey, from the traumas and the tragedies to the life changes to the loss to what I do today. But it's just that if you know that you're on a constant progression of self to better thyself, but also to know thyself is so very important for the spiritual journey. For some of you, that you may not even know what the spiritual journey is. For some of you, you may have been on the spiritual journey for a long time. For those of you that have been on it a long time, you know that the awakening and the shaking that usually causes the awakening is not fun. It can be quite painful. There's some balancing of the light and the dark that you have to work through. It's the alchemy. It's the change of who you are. And it's not always easy for transformation. And I've got a former episode where I talked about transformations are tough. So, today, if you're having, on this Friday, and you happen to catch the show, you're prospecting with me right now. Welcome. If you are not familiar with my work, again, you can learn all about me, just marklainhart.com, or just internet search Intuitive Prospector. I promise you, I will pull up somewhere, somehow. But it's, it's really about, just last episode that we talked about the Harvard study about the mouse that was dropped into the water back in the 1950s, and just keep swimming. So if you got here today, you found me. We're here because we encourage, we motivate, we think outside the box. We put perspectives out, whether you agree with them or not. It's not about that. We can agree to disagree on several different topics, but at the end of the day, we can always be kind to one another, right? We can be kind, caring, and compassionate. And again, the Metaphysical Meetup with Marc on Fridays is laying out a smorgasbord, a spiritual buffet. We talk about different things, and you pick and choose on free will and choice what makes sense to you and what doesn't make sense to you, right? But if you want to let go of who you are, you just might become who you're meant to be. And as Lao Tzu said, if I let go of who I am, I become who I might be. And it's really hard at times to imagine who you might be in life, right? I did never anticipate doing shows, doing podcasts, working with people. I had a really tough reading last night with a young lady whose husband just made his transition, pretty young too, made his transition to the other side. But she had, when you do a reading with me, I always recommend to wait 4 to 6 months, and usually after the funeral or the celebration of life, because there's just so much raw energy of losing, and that you're not even in the grieving format yet. You're in just the shock and awe and the raw. And so it was a tough reading last night for me emotionally, but I could empathize where she was at, her anger, her loss, what's going on. Because I was there years ago when I lost my brothers and my father-in-law all at the same time. So these events, like the events that are taking place with my transition from my career of 23 plus years federally into my new spiritual journey, it's because it's going to help me down the road to connect with others, to be in service, to encourage and inspire and life coach. And this one was a mediumship reading, connecting to her loved one, her husband, who made his transition, and he came through. He did finally make his way through. The grandparents finally were able to find him on the other side in the etheric world and bring him forward. Because I always remind people, as a medium, I can't just snap my fingers. It doesn't work that way, because I work in association and a relationship with them. They decide if they want to trust me as a medium to come forward. And so, a lot of times I remind you that just because you want that one person to come through does not mean it's going to happen because you want it to, right? It's not what you want, it's what you need. And so, after talking with her for, in the first 20 minutes, if that person's not open to receive, I will actually cancel the reading in the meeting and refund you your money back, of course. As a professional, any professional should do that, because at the 20 mark, you're wasting my time. But she was open to receive. She was acknowledging the evidence that was flowing through once he finally stepped forward and really gave some really cool information. I was actually quite, thrilled with the information that was coming through from him. But you could just tell in her state of mind where she was. But I could empathize. I just knew how heartbroken she was, and how lost and angry she was. And I could feel that. And it was a hard reading for me not to be emotionally invested in that, because I remember what that was like. I know exactly where she was when I was going through the murder of my brother and the loss of my brother from brain cancer. I knew that. I felt that. And that's where I know that this next stage of my journey, leaving behind after 23 years of federal service, good federal service, early medical retirement, but to continue to do what I love doing and getting paid to do what I love, which is this. It's shows, it's podcasts, it's helping people. And so after the 20 minutes, I didn't cancel because I knew that she needed to hear. But she's going to hopefully follow up with me after the funeral, because there's a big funeral that's going to have to take place, a huge procession. He worked in law enforcement. And it's, that's just such, for those of you who've been there, what it's like, that funeral, all the people coming to you. My condolences for your loss. This, after time, it gets better. It's a lot of stuff. But the true grieving and honoring your grief takes place months after the funeral, because everybody comes in and everybody goes back to their life. And I talked about this a couple of weeks ago about your spiritual fortune. And then everybody goes back to living their life. And then it's kind of like it's silent, right? It's like everybody came in, celebrated, showed sympathy and empathy and compassion and condolences. And then it's just like nothing, right? It's a very weird, I don't particularly like funerals this day and age. But it's the grief that follows after. And that's where you can really go down some dark paths. And that's what I was sharing with her. And I offer follow-up sessions with what I do. If as long as you've had a 1 hour session within the year, I have follow-up sessions throughout the rest of the year, because I find that people end up having questions or those synchronicities or uncertainties or triggers that actually like, hey, Mark, can I talk to you for 30 minutes? Sure. Let's do a quick follow-up emergency reading, just see what's going on, because some of the best evidence comes after the reading. And I found this to be very true. And I've done thousands of readings now today, y'all, with people all around the world. And I do find that when you set the intent, energy follows intention based on the laws of physics, and then things unfold after the reading as well. So pay attention to that, because her husband will make himself known, and their dog showed up on the other side, the grandparents were there. It was ended up being a nice reunion, but again, she's in a space just a month after his passing of just not ready to hear. So I'll send her the video so she can have that for record. But I always recommend doing a reading with a medium. And some people just want to know right now. That's the ego mind, right? That's the human consciousness. I want to know right now. And I always recommend, just from a place to receive information from somebody that you've never met, wait 4 to 6 months to start moving into the actual grief and to honor your grief. But again, this is, today we're talking about the constant progression of self. And, last week I talked about the Harvard study of that mouse that they dropped into the water and, just keep swimming. And the mouse was put in the water. The study was done back in the 1950s. And it was, that mouse on average would last about 15 minutes, and then it would start to sink to the bottom. And of course, the scientists would reach in, grab them, dry them off, let them rest for a couple minutes. And then a lot of people, I had you guess like how long, even my development group on Wednesdays, I did this same, I talked about this Harvard study, and, asked for what do you think the next round would be? How long would the mouse stay in the water? So when they would put that mouse back in the water the second time, most people say, oh, 15 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour. No, the mouse on average actually ended up swimming for 60 hours, 60 hours. So it's kind of like, how do you go from 15 minutes to 60 hours? Because it was the belief, even in the mind of the mind and the consciousness. I don't know if there's consciousness in the mouse, but the mind of the mouse, that they would eventually be rescued. So they just kept swimming, and then it didn't become a fatigue factor. So, life throws us curveballs all the time. It's on my altar right here. Life happens. We are not going to be able to control that. But what we can control is our constant progression of self and how we transform. Choose to be, a 300-pound overweight, sore, depressed male, or seek to find clarity and healing and weight loss and new back to transform into something new. So you'll get to see my progression. Like I said, this is the last show for a couple weeks until I'm actually able to feel good enough to come back up on the air. My YouTube channel will still be going on. We'll have an encore show for the next Inspired Living on Wednesday, the 24th, if you follow the show. Again, everything is right here at marklainhart.com. All the links, all the subscriptions, Diamonds Hub, Patreon, Prospectors. And then I'll be back. And I'm coming back in a big way. And again, hopefully a lot skinnier, maybe hit the weights again, start lifting again, new back, and again, new butterfly, right? But just because I reached that stage does not mean that, that is the end of the road. It's not the end of the rainbow. Buddha talked about this a lot, about reaching enlightenment. And even after he reached enlightenment, he still went out and tended his garden, right? So, it's about how you have a constant progression. And again, that's through free will and choice, because we can choose to progress, just like we can choose to evolve, or we can choose to digress or devolve, right? These are choices. I choose to progress. I choose to evolve. I choose to, anytime you go into surgery, it's always a risk, right? There's always a risk. Anesthesia, being tubed, but I'm going to trust, that my time's not done yet here. And if it is, I'll see you on the other side, right? You have all my videos. You can go back and watch if that's the case. That's kind of why I started doing this. But it's just a reminder, we never know what the day is going to bring, including surgeries. So it's a reminder to carpe diem, to celebrate what you have, and know that life is gonna happen, whether we want it to or not. After I'm done here, I'm actually going to just spilled my coffee. I'm going to go actually down to our local movie theater here, and I'm going to actually check out the new movie called Civil War. Now, for some of you that have followed my work for years, you know that I talked about during our Roaring 20s how transformative our Roaring 20s were going to be. Medicine, space exploration, realizing we're not alone in the universe, wars that will continue to happen because wars create money, right? So there will be a World War III, there will be a civil war. And now I'm going to actually watch and see in reality this new Civil War show based on the United States of where we could go. It doesn't mean we have to go there, but if we don't change how we are as humans and how we treat each other and how we treat our planet, there will inevitably be another civil war here in America, and there will be a world war, right? But coming back to the eclipse was a reminder to me of also talking about in the decade ahead, this decade of our roaring 20s, of transformation and consciousness. I also envisioned the great coming together, and it felt very similar to the great eclipse of 2024 for that 2 minutes of totality where we all just looked up. Some were getting married or doing a proposal, but most of us looked up with our glasses. And for that 2 minutes, we didn't worry about politics. We didn't worry about divide. We didn't worry about war. We didn't worry about, you know, religion, sexuality, misogyny, racism. We all were just in a state of awe. At least I know I was. Now I know not everybody is that same way, but it's just, it was looking up and seeing that reminder of just how small we are, and what just an amazing an event to witness, in the fact that it's the only place in our Milky Way and in our galaxy that happens based on where the sun proceeds through the moon and hits the planet. Now these eclipses happen all over the world all the time, but most of the time they're over the ocean of complete totality, right? So I can see why people now travel around the world. I think the next one, I was just talking to my wife about this. Maybe we go to Iceland in is either 2025 or 2026 will be a totality in Iceland. I've been to Iceland. I loved Iceland, to be honest with you. But it'd be kind of cool to go back if it's still okay to go back, because they're having a lot of issues with their volcanoes. But just to be able to see that again and witness the temperature drop, witness it go to complete darkness. NASA fired rockets to measure from a scientific standpoint, right? We're learning more every day about our universe and our place in the universe. They actually did studies through the path of totality for all the animals. I don't know if you were watching, but in Niagara Falls, the birds were going crazy around the waterfall. You could literally see the birds acting really just spontaneous, crazy, going in circles. So the animals, even realized the eclipse. There was even I was reading in history that there was an eclipse back in 528 BC. I can't remember who the war was between Greece and somebody, but there was an eclipse. This war had been raging for 6 years, and the eclipse happened on the battlefield, and everybody came to peace. The war ended after 6 years because it's called the battle of the eclipse of the battle of the eclipse, or something from history I read. It was, I follow a lot of historical factual stuff, not conspiracy theory. And so it was this 6-year war ended because the eclipse had happened during that time. They didn't know it, right, back in 528. And then all of a sudden they're like, okay, we realize how small we are. Let's just have peace and agree to disagree, and chunk out the land, or settle on whatever they were fighting over. I can't remember what they were fighting over. But for me, it's just a reminder of the great eclipse of 2024, of how small we are, how fragile we are, how life can change on a dime, just like it did for this young lady I read for last night. Her life changed overnight, and it will never be the same. Grief doesn't go away after time, y'all. Grief becomes a part of who you are. And I told her that, I got so, people don't know sometimes what to say when somebody's in that situation. And I had a lot of people come up to me after the loss of my brothers and say, Mark, it'll get better over time. It's been over 20 years and it's no better. It's still with me, but it's a part of me. I don't focus on that. I don't let that be a heavy luggage to drag behind me. It's just who I am. It's a part of that grief now, as a part of me, and that's honoring your grief. And that's what I shared with her. Whether she heard it or not, we'll see, because again, she was in that place. She should have waited to have the reading with me, but she needed to hear that, because again, it's not what we want, it's what we need at the time, right? And so I told her that people are going to come with good intentions to share in your grief, to share in your misery, to console, to have condolences. Some people don't know what to say. I told her, one aspect, there were people that were close to our families after my brothers had passed, but because of the way that the tragedies happened, murder and brain cancer and multiple sclerosis all at the same time, I literally had people pull away from me because they actually, for whatever reason, learned behavior, religious belief, what have you, they thought we were cursed. And I was like, seriously, you think that we would want something like this to happen to our family and that we're cursed? But then I had complete strangers that I didn't even know that would come up and give me a hug, or make us a meal, or be there for us. And it's just like, wow, this is cool. And I told her, you're going to have to get through this, but it will get better. But time heals, but it'll always be with you, and it becomes a part of you. But it's just a reminder of how fragile life is. And, it's a reminder to be in the present moment, plant seeds for what you want in the future, because future is never guaranteed and the past cannot be changed. And that totality of the great eclipse reminded me of something I've talked about, this great coming together for the planet. I don't know if that'll happen in the roaring 20s. I know we already have a lot of transformation taking place from, now we have AI and robotics. I have a robot that's going to be used on me for my surgery. How cool is that? I hope they video. I'd love to watch it just to see how this robot goes in, and it's very precise. And then they're going to flip me over, and the robot comes down, and yeah, it's kind of Star Trek, right? So hopefully I'll get to witness it or watch it after I'm out of the surgery. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Send prayers on Wednesday the 17th, please. I can use all the help I can get. But it just shows you how we're moving forward with just medicine. I get a text every day. The technology, the AI, that is going to continue, especially in the healthcare industry. It's very cool to see. But we also know from history that we move into a renaissance after global pandemics. History's taught us this. You go through a global pandemic, whether it was the COVID-19 or the great influenza flu of 100 years ago, society shifts and goes into this renaissance of thinking bigger than ourselves. And that totality and that great eclipse reminds us of how small we are, but how we continue to grow and to evolve and to eventually go out into the stars and become explorers. We're explorers here of our planet. We will continue to be explorers of our universe. If you want to catch a great show I just watched on Netflix, it's called The Signal. It's a 4-part limited series, and it's about first contact. Not to give away the ending, but it's very cool about how things can come back to us. That's a clue I'll give you. So if you want to check that out, it's called The Signal. It was German made, so it's going to be. It doesn't have this. It has a few subtitles, but you can tell that they, overdid it with English, but you can tell the words are off, right? Kind of like an old kung fu movie kind of thing. But it's worth the watch. It's worth the perspective, is what I would say, about just our constant progression for self. Uh, Again, free will and choice to move forward, to progress or not progress. It's all your free will and choice. You decide, right? So thanks for tuning in. Thanks for hanging out with me this morning on Metaphysical Meetup with Marc. I hope you're enjoying your coffee. I hope you enjoy the weekend ahead of us. I will not be doing any readings for the next couple weeks, so my calendar is booked out now. We will be doing a podcast encore show on the 24th, and then we're going to do a live taping on the 26th if I'm feeling good enough to do that with a very special guest. Don't want to give his name yet because I want to make sure that we're actually good to go. But he's in the world of spiritualism and psychic and mediumship. He's a big guru for me. Somebody I've learned under many times and studied under. And we're going to be doing a podcast pre-recorded show on the 26th, and then that show will air on the 8th of May. Is the intent right now. But no show next Wednesday. There will be a YouTube show, but no show. The YouTube show is now streaming at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. So when we're done here, that show, if you want to go over to my Soul Adventures over there and catch another inspiring, encouraging episode, then I challenge you to do that. Subscribe to the list. If you want to get on my Patreon Prospectors list, you get access for some pretty cool things. If you want to be a Diamonds Hub subscriber, that one's only $4.99 a month. Go to the link here or the links that'll be in this video or former videos. You can become a subscribers hub there, where I do a lot of interactions and a lot of messages. Just a reminder for my Patreons and my Patreon prospectors and my Diamonds Hub subscribers. Remember, the first Friday of every month, if you're on those pages, you have access to Zoom, both at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time and 3:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, to have Q&A, readings, healing, meditations, guidance, inspiration, what have you. That's always the first Friday of every single month for the rest of the year. That's my way of giving back to my subscribers. So I hope that you'll join me on this journey. So let me give some more shout outs to everybody. Again, today we're talking about constant progression for self, how we improve our mindset, how we improve our body, how we improve our spiritual pathways. As of next week, my progression will change. After 14 successful years working for the VA, that's done on Monday, the 15th, tax day of all days. That's kind of interesting. But then, I can start to work on some retirement, enjoying retirement, and really focus, like I said, continuing to podcast, write my second book, continue to be in service to help others and to inspire others. So I'm really looking forward to that, and becoming who I was meant to be. So Shout out to Otis. Good morning. Elena, hello. Good morning to my team. If you're on, thanks for managing the comments. We try to keep this community positive, try to keep social media, any social media I do, whether it's YouTube or TikTok or Facebook, is keeping the platforms for positivity. And I have a team of administrators behind the scenes that volunteer to be here to make sure we're not getting spam comments or cruel comments or people that are just being, you know, ignorant or disrespectful behind the keyboard, because that's what social media has become, really. Excuse me. And it's something we're going to have to work through with our technologies as a society, as a species, um, because it has divided people, and I don't believe at the end of the day that it's going to be the total cause of divide or collapse in society. I think people are getting tired of social media. I know that I am. Some social media is just shit, just like news media. Some of the news media outlets are just shit. It's like, just what are they telling us? What are they programming? Always come back to the concepts of tell a vision. TV. Just break down the word to tell a vision. And what program are you watching? What programming are you watching? Just become aware of that. Maybe less social media and more reading, reading books, right? Or more music, less social media. But thank you to my team, uh, both over on YouTube and here on Facebook Live, for managing the comments, keeping the comments clean, not getting spam. It really is beneficial to keeping this platform positive. So, Julie, good morning or good afternoon to you. Pammy, hello. Allison, hello. Denaden, hello to you. Denise, hello to you. Michelle, hello, my friend. Good morning to Denise, and good morning, Mark. Ruby Jane, hello. I like that name. Ruby Jane, that's a cool name. Veronica de Leon, hello to you. Joni, I am not going to try to pronounce your last name, my friend. I apologize. I'm sure that I will just crush that and may make it worse. But Joni, starting with the last name K, hello to you. Julia, hello to you. Otis says, best wishes on your surgery and the recovery. Things always happen for reasons, and God's timing is always perfect. Trust the process. Well said, Otis. Well said. I totally am with you. Trust in the process. It said, like I said, for those of us that work in healthcare, those of us that have been in medicine, emergency medicine, we're really bad at taking care of ourselves. And when you know the process, right? Um, it's just like you don't want to do it because you know what goes on when people are under, right? Not bad or nefarious. I'm not saying that, but it's just, there's always that risk. But thank you for that. And that's great advice. And I do trust the process. Part of my foundations of what I teach my students is trust, patience, dedication, discipline. And then of course you got to throw in that belief, in that, that belief is is big time. Just like the belief of the mouse that would only, at the first drowning in the cup of water for 15 minutes, picked out, dried off, rested, put back in. The belief of even just a mouse in that Harvard study was able to go 60 hours. And that's a mouse. So imagine what we're capable of doing, right? So thank you for those well wishes, Otis. I appreciate that. Hey, Raina AR, hello to you. Katie, how are you, Katie? Good to see you. Adriana, how are you? Maureen, all the best wishes on your surgery and recovery. Thank you, my friend. Good morning to Susan. Laura says, all the best. Prayers and angels go with you, my dear friend. All will be well. Yes, it will. Tara says, I will be sending you healing vibes and blessings for your surgery and healing. Thank you, my friend. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Judith. So thank you for that, y'all. And, but, from a logical standpoint too, there's always, with any surgery, there's always a risk. And I always just, if for some reason I'm not here after Wednesday, that's not the end of me. I still go on. My love, my consciousness, my memories, who Marc Lainhart was here, goes on. And so I can always say, I'll see you on the other side. I'll see you when you get there, right? So because I don't fear death. And I know some of you watching may have, I sometimes fear how I'm going to go. But if I can go in my sleep like the gentleman did, that I had the reading for last night, I said that's a great way. If you're going to go when your time's up, I'd rather go in my sleep than being, buried alive or eaten by a great white shark. Those are some of my fears, right? Just because of stories I've read, that fear energy. But, trusting that process. Otis is right. Trusting the process is a big, you have to have trust, you have to have belief, and you have to surrender. You have to let go of things that just, don't serve your higher good. So, how are we on time here? So we got about 5 minutes to the top of the hour. Let's do this. Let me bear with me here. I'll grab a link. If you want to come in, I'm going to open up for my Patreon prospectors. I'll know who you are on the Patreon side. If you're a Diamond subscriber, you'll have a badge, a heart that's green. So I'll know that you're a subscriber, or a star sender. So if you want to send stars digitally for coffee, I'm all about that, and I'll give you a reading. Let me go grab the link here real quick for Zoom. I forgot to do that. If you want to come in the Zoom room, and I'll do about 20 minutes of live readings, if you will. If it's in the Zoom room is mostly for if we end up doing mediumship. Mediumship is, again, connecting to those that are no longer here but lived a physical life, an incarnated physical life, and then made their transformation into the other side, whatever your belief is of the other side, heaven, the afterlife, Summerland, where the angels live. I mean, there's so many different connotations and labels with that, but it's also knowing that life does continue on after death. And in the mediumship, I can't do that through chat. It has to be done through, because you tell me yes, no, I don't know, I don't remember, right? It's a reunion of energy and voice between the spirit world, myself as the medium, and you coming in as a sitter. So I'll get that pasted into the Facebook page, if you'll just bear with me here. Let's see here. And if the team can grab the comments, that would be great. Where are we at here? Let's get over here. Sound. Look for my let's see here. Yeah, there's multi-4. There's the okay. Then I know it's pasted in. I'll try to put an avatar. I'm doing this right here. So again, it's a little slow because we are in retrograde. So the technology today has been very, very sluggish. Let me try this one more time. There we go. And avatar, so you can see. Let's do a little heart. I'll be holding up a heart, and then that Zoom link should populate with that. Yeah, so look for me holding a heart. I got my cool vibe shirt on. I just updated my avatar. That's a cool thing now. We have avatars, right? I remember the movie Avatar, right? But there's a Zoom link in there. If you need a passcode, it's 2024. If you want to come in and just ask me a question, I'm happy to do that, be in service. No guarantees. Remember, I work for them. They do not work for me. And then let me get to your comments. Thank you for the stars. Laura Everall Benoit, thank you so much. Ramesh, hello to you. Thank you for the stars. Anima Sham, hello to you. So we got some new names I'm not familiar with, and of course those that I do know that follow the journey. So what questions do you have for me? I can pull a card, I can do a book passage, we can do a quick prayer or meditation if you like. We can do a quick focus. What's going on? What's on your minds? How can I help you with the time that I have left? Again, we have about 15-20 minutes. I'm happy to see if I can help you or not. Completely up to you. If not, then have a great rest of your Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Enjoy your coffee. Like I said, after we're done here, I'm going to actually slowly make my way. I don't move very fast right now until I have the surgery. Kind of walking like a 90-year-old man, but that's part of life, right? That's just the wear and tear on this bridge that's about to get re-shored up. We're gonna go watch Civil War. I want to see what I saw coming years ago. I talked about this in 2018 before we hit the roaring 20s of transformation. I said that America has the potential to have its next civil war based on what we're currently at. I don't think we're divided as much as the media and people like to say we are, but I see a great coming together, something of the totality, the eclipse, where everybody stops, looks up, and goes, you know what? We're human beings. We can treat each other better. We can treat our planet better. We don't, we're the only species that pays to live here. Just think about this from just from a wisdom standpoint. We're the only species on the planet that pays to live here. We actually chop down trees, turn it into paper. That paper is then turned into money, printed into money. And you have to have money to survive in this world, right? But then we take those same pieces of paper and write them messages on the paper and stick it to poles around the neighborhood and say, save the trees. Think about that. It's just, we're going to have some rude awakenings is what I'm trying to tell you, based on, a system that's based on capitalism, based on money, based on democracy. All of those can change overnight. We forget how fragile we are going around a big ball of fire. and that totality of the eclipse reminds us just how small we are and how things can change on a dime. And it was very spiritual moment because everybody was looking up, and for those 2 minutes we forgot about. And I see something even bigger than that for the human consciousness, for human society. Now, for those of you that are watching, you're like, it's a forecast, right? It's a prediction, it's a forecast. Nothing is ever 100% accurate or certain unless it's proven by science and mathematics, and we only have proven 4% of actual scientific method based on mathematics. So that's 96%. We still don't know, right? Just like our oceans, we only know about depending on what study you look at, we only know about 7 to 10%, 15% of our oceans, but that's still a lot of ocean we just don't know. We know more about our moon than we do our own ocean. So there's going to be a lot that we're going to learn about each other, but that can change anytime. We're on a very fragile system of balance, and that can, like I said, so it's a reminder to seize the day, to appreciate what you have, be grateful for what you have. Give that person a hug. Don't wait to do stuff. Do it now. Seize the moment. Seize the day is what I would say. And again, I'm still laughing because for those, I know that there's conspiracy theories out about flat Earth, and if we're living in a simulation, then I can see the flat Earth, but with a totality, it's really hard to argue with what you see with your own eyes in a round circle. And we'd be the only flat planet in the galaxy. It would be kind of weird to see everybody else around planets, and then here's Earth as a flat Earth. So I'm wondering how the flat Earthers are trying to defend their hypothesis and theory that the world is flat. But it's interesting. It's always a journey. So thank you, Rena. Thank you so much. Can you kindly pick a card for me? You bet. All right. So anybody else? Anybody want to come in the Zoom room? The Zoom room is open 10, 15 minutes. If you want a question, or if you have a question, be specific. I'm going to use the flower deck for you this morning. This is for Rena AR. Make sure to get your badges. Make sure to subscribe. Become a Diamonds Hub. Just helps you get on. Laura, thank you for the stars. Thank you for the stars. Laura, do you have a question? I want to start with you first because you're one of my subscribers. So you send me stars all the time. So you figured out the star thing again. So I know you were having a problem sending stars. I didn't do anything. Facebook did that, just so you all know. But stars just every month just help pay for my coffee. Helps encourage me to come on and do these shows. So while I'm waiting for Laura, we'll pull the card for yes. If you're pulling cards, I'd like one, or if there's a spirit message, thank you. So Rena, hold on real quick. I got your deck here, the flower deck. I'll get to you, but I want to start with Laura because she is one of my, as you can see next to her name, she's one of my followers and she's a star sender. So I want to honor my guidelines. So the card I'm going to pull for you, I got two things for you this morning. I'm going to pull a card for you to back up what I'm picking up. But I know from a spiritual standpoint, I know that Father steps forward. I know you're not going to come to the Zoom room. That's fine. But I know that Father steps forward and says, just keep breathing. Just keep going. These times have been really tough for you. I know I don't feel like the relationship was where it should have been in the physical life, but it's just more of, especially as Father Days comes up, he's just making that motion to me to really take his stubbornness in life and apply to what's going on in your journey. That would be the spiritual message from Dad that's on the other side. You can confirm that in the comments if you like, but it's about his stubbornness. He was so stubborn in life, and that impacted the relationships. Don't let your stubbornness impact the relationships that are in the physical matter. We're children of matter, the physical world. That's what he's telling. That's what he makes me feel like. That's what just dropped in as I saw your name. The card I have for you here, let's do the thought cards here from Louise Hay, the Louise Hay deck. So we're going to just shuffle, intent, energy. And the card I have for you based on thought is this. I deserve the best and I accept the best now. I am mentally and emotionally equipped to enjoy a prosperous and loving life. It is my birthright to deserve all good. I claim my good. So that's your thought card. It's a flower card. So I don't know if this flower has any meaning to you, the purple. I don't know my flowers very well, but again, I deserve the best. And that's what I felt like the Father was saying from the other side. So if you can confirm in the comments below, please do so. If it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, also call that out. Y'all know me. I don't make things fit. If it doesn't fit or it doesn't work for you, say, I don't understand that, Mark. I can't resonate with that. And that's okay. I'm not always right. It's just giving my intuition and what drops and downloads with what I'm doing. And it's only going to get more increased, y'all. I'm no longer walking two pathways of working in the federal government and my spiritual consulting. That ends next Monday. I'm done. I'm out. There's still more to go on that side. I won't get into details about that legality wise, but I'm excited for the pathway with the new back that I'm going to be going for my spiritual practice, the Intuitive Prospector, Inspired Living Radio, Positive Living, next book, more events. So I'm really excited for that. So, okay. So for Raina, all good, no worries. Now I'm back to you, my friend. So I have the flower deck. This is called Flower Sentience. So flowers, for those that you don't know, let me just explain this deck. This is a newer deck that was given to me when I went to England in December. And it's the power of nature. Nature is our greatest teacher, our greatest engineer, our greatest healer, our greatest inspirer. We always talk about get back to nature. In fact, the word forest, if you break it down, means for rest. Look at the word, break it down, for rest, right? So this one for you is based on flower sentience, which means to feel. The flowers, clairsentience is feeling, using the largest organ on the body, which is the skin, is to feel, necessarily not think it, right? And this is called clairvoyance through the third eye. Clairsentience. Flower sentience is literally taking a flower, maybe smelling it, not plucking it and killing it, but just smelling it and seeing what emotions, what thoughts, how it makes you feel. So for, and then just comment in the section, in the comments below, if things are resonating for you. Hi, John. Hi, Kira Monkey Girl. How are you? Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. So this is for Rena R.A. All right, make sure I got this. A.R., I'm sorry, Rena A.R. Sorry, I got your letters backwards. My apologies. All right, so here's the deck. Here's your card. Ooh, this is a cool card. Let's see what the message is. So the number on it's a 2. So you probably won't be able to see it in the video, but it's a number 2. That's the flower, and it's a bluebell. So the number 2 from a numerology standpoint means this: be at peace. Be at peace with what's going on. Be at peace with yourself. Be at peace with things you can't control. The bluebell, and I don't know if you relate to the actual bluebell flower or the name bluebell. There could be a ship named Bluebell. There could be a city named Bluebell. It could be somebody's nickname named Bluebell. Or for me, I'm thinking my boy Blue from Old School movie. But it says this: the bluebell has long been symbolic in humility and gratitude. Humility and gratitude. It brings to you the essence of consistency, and everlasting love. Perhaps you've been feeling those qualities had gone astray in your life. Bluebells are also linked to the fairy realms and are sometimes called the fairy thimbles. I didn't know that. Where fairies important in childhood, or even now with a child close to you, remember that childlike qualities in life can bring lots of joy. I guess I don't know. Maybe they look like fairies. I don't know. I know that there is, when you're out in nature and you're deep in the forest, there are elementals that I've had my own experience, whether they're fairies or Sasquatches or no, I don't know, but I've had some very interesting experiences out deep in the outback of nature. I'll just say that as the intuitive prospector. But that's for you, the bluebells. Does that resonate with you? Remember, I think the message is, remember that childlike quality can bring in a lot of joy. It reminds me of a meditation I was listening to. Been doing a lot of reading this gentleman here, The Art of Living by Thich Nhat Hanh. Love his work. And he talked about in one of his meditations, the beauty of a child standing in the lotus flower. The lotus flower is, you can kind of see the lotus flower on my meditation mat right here, because the lotus flower grows up in yuck. It grows up in mud and becomes something beautiful based on something that comes out of disgusting, smelly swamps. And then to have that child stand in the middle of the lotus flower can bring a lot of inspiration, healing, and transformation for your journey. So I hope that makes sense for you, Rena. AR, thanks for asking. Anybody else? Let me catch up on comments here. Laura says, yes, he was. I won't. Okay, good. So sometimes it's good to have stubbornness. I know stubbornness firsthand. I am a Taurus. I'm the most stubborn, or one of the most stubborn astrology signs in the signs. So I get that. So you have to work at being stubborn, but also we need to work to let stuff go, and we need to work on surrender, right? So Otis says, I would like a healing prayer for my uncle and my grandma who are going through health issues. Thanks. You bet, Otis. So let's just, I'll hold space. We can always hold space. I personally have experienced distant healing. I believe in distant healing. I don't think we're limited just based on the physicality. Again, you want to unlock the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, vibration, and lots of things start to open to you metaphysically. So Odith, just holding space for you, for your family, for your uncle, for your grandma, sending them healing energy for a quick recovery. I do want to also, this young lady's from yesterday's reading was such a very tough emotional reading. I just want to, her name is Kendall. I'm not going to get into her full name for privacy, but I just want to hold her and her family and what she's going through right now with the loss of her husband who made his transition into the spirit world recently, and just feeling how angry and lost and raw that emotion was last night for her. So I just, perfect stranger, never met her before, but she's been on my heart for the last 24 hours. So that's the reminder, just to hold space for even strangers, and for her, if you guys would just throw her some loving energy as well. All right. Kara says, sorry I'm late. I don't want excuses. You need to be here at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. No, I'm kidding. Thanks for tuning in, Monkey. I appreciate you. Let's see. What else? Zoom room's open. Link's out there. If team wants to grab the link for anybody that wants it. Victoria, hello to you, my friend. Laura says, love that. Purple, favorite color. Dad, very stubborn. He hangs out with me more than he ever did. Yeah, we find that, and that's what I tried to say in last night's reading, that they're now closer to us in the etheric, spiritual standpoint of their love and their mannerisms and their energy. But they are human beings, or they're spiritual beings now. They came to have a human experience. I got to be very mindful of saying they're not just energy. My former mentor, she's still my mentor, Mavis, she would always say, they're people, damn it, they're not energy. So they are people. And so he is more closer to her, even though she may not know that, because we as humans we have to have physicality, we have to have touch. Science shows if we don't have touch when we're first born, we actually can die. So it's changing your awareness to the mindset of, just because we don't see it doesn't mean it's not here. But you're right in the fact that the spirit world becomes closer to us. Sometimes if the relationship was jaded or skewed in the physical world, it can become healing. I know I had to do that for my own father, my biological father, Norm. We weren't close in life, just not to get into too much details, but rejected as a son. And we became closer after he passed in the spirit world. And for me, it was, we have to work on forgiveness. We have to work on healing for those relationships. But there are times when he drops in. Last night, he dropped in even by a name. We were watching the show Fallout. It's on Prime. It's actually interesting. It's a good show. And one of the gentlemen's name was a Norm. And you don't hear that name very often. So when I heard Norm, it made me think of him. And that's how they drop in, through the signs, the symbols, the synergy, the synchronicities, whether we're watching a movie or reading a book, or we see somebody that looks like him, et cetera, et cetera. So, we have to work through our stubbornness. We have to surrender. We also need to know when to let that shit go. All right. Raina says, I'm a Gemini, so I do have childlike qualities. I love that. Yeah, so you're the sisters, right? So it's the balance of being the adult, and I love that you love fairies, so pay attention to that. Pay attention to the bluebell as well. Is it Lou Joe? Am I saying your name right? Is the T silent? Well, I apologize if I'm not saying your name right. T Lo Joe Makwatiti. Again, apologies if I'm totally messing up your name, but hello, welcome. Thanks for being here. Victoria says, good afternoon, Mark, and all you beautiful souls. May I please have a card of your choice for the week? You bet, Victoria. Let's get you. Thanks for being a member. Thanks for following. The card I have for you today, I'm going to go numerology deck for you. There's some numbers going on here. Let's see what the numbers have to say. The number, Raina was asking about the number right below. That number on the card, the number 2 from a numerology, is about being at peace with what's currently going on. Either being at peace or being a peacemaker. That's all about the energy of the 2 in numerology. All right, Victoria. So numerology deck. All right, this is the card that you get a twofer. Actually, you got 2 that dropped in. So let's talk about that. Ooh. So when they do that, let's talk about the health. Again, as a professional, I'm not a doctor, so I can't diagnose. I don't prescribe, and I don't teach to. So I always have to say, please go to your board certified doctor or naturopath. But the health is coming up. The 7 and the 1. 7 and 1. 7 is truth. That's what 7 represents in numerology. 1 means independence. Together, the 7 and 1 equal 8 this year, but also manifesting. So there's something going on with the health here. So make sure to get that checked out. It could be something as simple as getting a hearing check. I get a hearing check on Monday. I'm getting reevaluated through my VA status, right? I just had my teeth cleaned by the dentist, and my doctor said, "What's going on? Because you have more plaque than normal." The body can actually resonate and register what's going on from the material world. It can impact your health, and your health is your greatest wealth. It is your greatest treasure. And so even my doctor said, "Why do you have a plaque buildup on your left side and you're grinding your teeth?" And I was like, "Okay." She goes, "You never have plaque. You're really good about taking care of your teeth." And I'm like, "I know, I try." And so then I told her what's been going on the last 10 months with my career and how I'm changing careers and retiring early, and had been through a lot of hostility and retaliation type of energy. And my body took it on to where I was clenching at night and grinding my teeth and had a plaque buildup that she had to actually clean off. So she was able to tell without knowing my situation. So again, your health is very, very important for you. So go get checked out. Nothing over the top, just check in, pulse check, make sure your pulse is still going. I don't prescribe and I don't diagnose. Even though I am a medical intuitive with a 25-year background in health, you still have to go to your board certified doctor or your naturopath. But I believe that there's a lot of modalities that also don't need the medicine world: plant medicine, breath work, meditations, what have you. So health came up first for you. Nothing scary. Just check in on your health. Check in. It's always good. And then the other one was a relationship change. 56. This is an 11 energy, which is about teaching moments. The 5 represents freedom, love, adventure, more freedom what you're doing. The 6 is about compassion for yourself and others. But it's a relationship change. And remember, it doesn't have to be a relationship with another human being. It can be a relationship with yourself, relationship with your ego, relationship with your higher self, relationship with your body. I'm having a relationship change right now with my body as I shed weight, get a new back, and hopefully after next Wednesday emerge as a new butterfly. So does that make sense, Victoria? Health and relationship changes is what came up for you. So put in your comments down below if that resonates, makes sense, what have you. If it doesn't make sense, say it doesn't make sense. I'm not gonna. I have very thick skin now, y'all. I don't make things fit. If it resonates, please say that it resonates. It's for you. And if it doesn't, then maybe it was meant for somebody else, or maybe I could be wrong. What? All right. Hi, Debbie. Good to see you. Where'd my comments go? My comments just dropped out. Okay, there we go. Otis says, "Thank you, many blessings." You bet. We'll hold space. All right. May you have a card. Kara, yes, you may. Narendra Singh, hello to you. Bernadette, hello to you. Joanna, hello to you. Got to run. All right. See you, Laura. The Style Council, Unix Hair Salon, Trey is watching. Hello to you. Good morning to my beautiful, amazing, talented niece, Natalia. Yes, that's so true. It's like cogs in a machine, and when something is off, they grind against each other. It's always manifests in my teeth and grinding. Yeah, isn't that that's interesting? Because again, they say that the mouth is the gateway to your overall health. People can tell how your health is just by your mouth. So thanks for sharing that, Natalia. Hope you're doing well. Come visit me. You said you're going to come visit me. I'm taking you up on that. Come visit me, please. So that is my older brother's, who's in spirit. Todd, that's his oldest daughter. And she is very, very talented, very beautiful too. So I got to just throw that. I'm biased, but all right. So let's get back to Kara, who's one of my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. She's a Diamonds Hub. So do you have a number? Let's do this. Let's have you pick. Sorry, I got an itch on my foot. My legs are a little sensitive until I have this surgery. I get numbness, neuropathy. So I get these strange sensations, energy shooting down my legs. So Kara, I want you to pick a number 1 through 14, please, or pick a page number in a book 3 through 325. So I want you to pick because you're one of my subscribers. So decks 1 through 14, you can pick a deck number or a page number between 3 and 325. And then once I see that comment, I'll come back up to you, or I'll come back to you. Horatio, hello to you, my friend. Manisha, hello to you. Denise says, my 19-year-old son, Michael, has me stressed lately with the girl he's seen. May I please have a card for me? I can use some type of messages of inspiration and encouragement. You bet, Denise. That's what we're here for, right? To encourage, to motivate, to think outside the box, to make this world a better place, to send a vibration. So let's start with one is the mom for your 19-year-old son. He's 19 years old. He's just discovering the world, right? Sometimes moms don't agree with who their sons date. I know from firsthand experience. And you may not like her, right? That's okay, but this is his choice. So you have to honor his free will and his choice to discover the world around him, right? Whether you like her or not, you're just, you have to move from that parenting to more of the mentor slash friend, because he is 19. He is past the age of accountability. He is getting into being a young male, young adult. So there's that. The card that I would pick, let's go with what you can allow deck. So here's your deck. And then remember, Kara, to put in the chat your number 1 through 14, or a page out of a book between 3 and 325. So Denise, here's your card for what to allow. This is called the I Allow deck. Here it is. It says this: I allow myself to be patient. I allow myself to be patient. I allow myself to be patient. So a lot of times as us as humans, again, if the girl that I dated when I was 19 is not the woman I married 30 years later, right? We've been together 30 years, but allow things to grow. That's what this card represents. In your hands is a plant. It's been planted. This is your son of 19. He was planted 19, well, more than 19 years ago, 19 years, 9 months ago, right? But allow yourself to be patient with what he's doing, what he's attracted to, what he's searching for, what he's prospecting for, right? Be patient. And us as humans, that's why it's one of the that's why it's one of my foundations to what I teach my students, because we want it right now. We want change. We want it real time. We're like the little girl in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory that wants an Oompa Loompa. But I want an Oompa Loompa now, Daddy. We want. Whether we're 2 years old or whether we're 72 years old, it's all about the ego and what we want. So a lot of times in spiritual development, is the first foundation is trust, followed by patience. And you have to have patience. So that is your message for today, Denise. You probably didn't expect that, but that is, again, it's not what we want, it's what we need at the time. So patience, patience, patience. How can you work on patience? Do a nice patience meditation, do a nice breath work, gets the mind to calm down, and it helps you not be so engaged if you're getting really riled up by the relationship or the girl he's seeing. All right, Natalia says, love you, coming to visit this summer. Thanks, Uncle Mark. You're very welcome. I look forward to seeing you. Okay, Kara, number 8, deck number 8. You got it. Hi, Jarrell Pritchard. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Number 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Ooh, cool. You got my atomic deck this morning. So this always reminds me of the atom. I got this in Palm Springs when I was visiting Palm Springs last year. I went to a metaphysical shop and had a reading, and the lady was using this deck. And she found out who I was and what I did. She's like, here, have it. I get all my decks. They're either sent to me or given to me, or so I love it. So this is the Atom deck. So take a nice deep breath in. Thanks for being a subscriber. I appreciate you. And this is your card for today. Look at this. Oh, the breath card. Oh, the breath card. Now look at the energy. This is the green color. So this is going to be tied all to the heart chakra. Breath, breath, breath. How do I know? Because it's tattooed right there. That is the Sanskrit for tattoo, or the Sanskrit for breath, that I believe in so much, in the power of breath. And you can see it's the breath in, the journey of life, which is never a straight line. And then when we exhale and we take our last breath, we move on to the next adventure. That's what that ... means, right? So I know that there was an adventure before me. There was a life before me, whether that's reincarnation, whatever your belief system is. But just so you know, almost every major top 10 religion around the world does speak and does point to reincarnation. Again, we can debate, agree to disagree, but ... we take that internal breath, that first sacred breath in, we go through the many pathways of life, and then we exhale, and then it's another journey. This is one of the oldest Sanskrit symbologies known to man, and it's for you a reminder to just breathe. So do that for me right now. Take a nice 3 deep breaths. I have to do this for my surgery. I got a spirometer. I don't have it next to me. It's downstairs, but I have to do 5 times a day 4 exercises where I have to blow before the surgery to get ready for pneumonia and be intubed, and then I have to do it after the surgery to keep pneumonia, right? So power of breath is so transformative. People forget about breath, right? We think that we need pills, or we look for answers in the material world, but sometimes it can just simply be the power of breath. I've done some amazing workshops. I've worked with some amazing teachers over my journey of working with breath, Soma breath work, Wim Hof breath work, immersing yourself in a very cold, ice cold environment, like going down to the Puget Sound, which is 51 degrees, and swimming for 3 to 5 minutes. You want to talk about breath. But what it can do is it can actually start an internal healing as well. So it's very good for your health. So breath, 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 just breathe. And if pay attention to the material world, because a lot of times it will send you signals, whether you hear, the song by Faith Hill, Just Breathe, or you see it, or there'll be reminders. It's quite interesting, the synchronicities that take place. So does that make sense, Kara? Hey, Katie, Jana Flores, bravo. Hello to you. Bernadette, where you been? Good to see you, my friend. Patrick, Claudia. Paris says, atomic deck. I love that. Atom, yes, it's all about atoms, right? It's all about cells. It's all about ascension. It's all about alchemy, right? These are all part of who we are. Every 7 years, we shred or shed, however you want to call it, trillions of cells. That's why we call this aging. That's why we get the crow's feet around our eyes, because we are cellular and we shed every 7 years, right? 7 is truth. So makes perfect sense. Thank you. You're very welcome. You're welcome, Denise. Much appreciated. I will definitely be taking more deep breaths than usual. We'll miss your energy while you're going through your surgery. Thank you, my friend. Love and light. Right back at you. Hi, Barbara. Good to see you. Victoria says, I'm actually recovering from a miscarriage and I've been trying to figure out what to do in terms of my relationships. First and foremost, Victoria, condolences on the miscarriage. That infant didn't incarnate, still return to source, is still a part of you. But that's always so very tough. So just want to hold space for you and send you healing and prayers. As far as the relationship, if it's toxic, trust your intuition, trust your gut on toxicity. So solidarity is perfect. Isolation is a great way to figure out, to listen to that higher voice and what you want to do next. When it becomes to relationships with others, but also relationship with yourself is what I would say. Move into solidarity, and I would get out into nature. Water is great. The ocean is great. Let the ocean take your stuff and have it return your sparkle. But I found nature, it's a cover of the book here too, In Between Worlds. Nature, 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 water, mountains, air. Isolation will be beneficial to help you determine what your next steps are. There's a song, I can't play it because it's not approved by Meta. All my music is always copyright trademarked free on my podcasts, on my shows, or my YouTube channel, because they're already pre-approved. But one of the songs that I'd have you look up, it's on Spotify. I have a Spotify list. It's called The Way Knows the Way. And a lot of times we try to figure it out, and sometimes we just need to let go because the way already knows the way. Whether you believe that or not, that's where the trust and the patience comes in. But the way knows the way. And sometimes we just need to trust that. It's like taking your hands off, the steering wheel. I'm thinking of the movie Fight Club, where he takes his hands off. Brad Pitt's driving, and he just takes his hands off the wheel, and the car's going all over the place. And the other guy is like, dude, drive. It's like, no, trust. Right. So, it's sometimes that's what we just have to do. We have to take a step back. And I think you'll find your answers. I know you'll find your answers based on nature and isolation. Think about, in scripture, they even talk about where Jesus went out to the desert for 40 days, for 40 nights to seek guidance, to seek clarity. Yeah, he was tempted, but he went out into the desert for 40 days and 40 nights. If you want to do that, great. Go hike the Pacific Coast Trail from the mountain train from Mexico to Canada. You can do that in 40 days, right? And the summer is coming. But maybe not that extreme, but maybe just go off grid for a little bit to get those answers that you seek. All right, my friend, again, just holding space. My condolences on your miscarriage. So, and again, thank you for sharing that with us publicly. That's not an easy thing to do. Okay. Rena AR says, I would say our bodies change every 7 years. I do like how you state we shed our cells. We do. We shed them. We cannot stop until there's medicine that stops the aging process. It is natural, just like death is. Just birth is normal. Death is normal. The aging process is normal, right? So, hey, Layla. Hello, Jen. All right. Any other questions here? It's 11:30. I went a little bit longer. So any other questions? I didn't get anybody to come into the Zoom room. If you didn't get the link, it was up above. Look for my avatar with the heart, or if my team could grab that for anybody wanting. I'll do one last message, and then I'm going to go get ready for a movie. I'm going to just lay low. I'm kind of going into my pre-bubble infection. So I've got a couple things I can do today and tomorrow, and then Monday. I have one last medical appointment. And then Monday, Tuesday, I am boy in a bubble. And then Wednesday is the big surgery. So hi, Zoe Colette Foster. Hello to you. Thanks for coming on. Good to see you. This is Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live Fridays, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can learn more about what I'm doing here at marclainhart.com, or you can just internet search the Intuitive Prospector. You'll pull up my book, my podcast, my YouTube channel. You'll pull up something if you're prospecting to want to work with me, or come for a visit to my spiritual development group tribe for what we do on Wednesdays, podcasts on Wednesdays, development group on Wednesdays, meet up on Fridays. Yeah, so I'm glad I switched to Fridays, just a better energy. So any other questions before we call it a day? This will be my last show until after my surgery, and so stay tuned. The best way is to subscribe or follow the page here on Facebook, or get on my newsletter, Soul Adventures, to stay in the know, or become a subscriber, Patreon or Diamonds Hub here on Facebook. So okay, I'm not seeing anything else pop in. So maybe we reach in. I'll give it one more minute. It's 11:30. You got 1 minute. 1 minute. Well, I'm waiting for any. And if I missed your question, I apologize. I don't always see them. So if I did miss it, I didn't get to you directly, put bump and a star, and then ask your question again. Because as you can see, there's a lot of comments that can come streaming in. And for me to find it on my phone is almost impossible. Hi, Jackie. Good to see you. So if I missed your question, bump star question again, that means that you had answered it or asked it earlier and I just missed it, or my team missed it. Again, thank you to my team. Appreciate y'all. And I'm going to find us a song to close us out. Maybe A Better Place by Peter McConnell, or Diamonds by Airlands. Diamonds on the Vine. What do y'all think? You want Better Place or Diamonds on the Vine to close out for the song? Bump. Bernadette. Yes, my friend. I'm so sorry. What was your question? Bump. Thank you. I did miss you. I remember seeing your name. What was your question, hon? Bernadette. Ask your question again. Otherwise, we have to try to go up and try to find my. There's a lot of comments, so it's just easier to just restate it. Hey, Rochelle. Good to see you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Bernadette, what's your question, my friend? Better Place, number card. Number card. Okay. So you want the numerology deck here. This is the number card. Is that what you mean, Bernadette? And Better Place. Okay, so I'll close us off with Better Place. I'll take your recommendation. How's that? And we'll close with a better place, because we do need a better place. There's so much going on in our world, but I see the great coming together. I see good things coming. There'll always be bad things in history and life, war, loss, tragedies. That's just part of life, right? But we now have the tools to make things more interesting. Exploration of our stars, medicine, communications, consciousness and awareness. Medicine is taking us to some pretty amazing places. So, yep. Okay. So here's a numerology deck. Here we go. Sorry, I missed your question. I can get off on a tangent, start talking, connecting, and then I lose all my other cognitive functions. Here you go, my friend. This is interesting. This is spirituality card. So this is the purple metamorphosis color of transformation. The number 77 is a double truth number. So seeking truth, finding truth, knowing truth, hearing truth. Just be open for the next week or so, because some of the best information flows after the card is pulled or after the connection is established. But where you're at, Bernadette, on your spiritual path for, what I teach on are the PEMs, the physical, the emotional, the mental, the material, and the spiritual. So whatever path you're on, I don't remember if you're spiritual or religion, doesn't matter. But spirituality is your own journey and your own connection with what God or who God is. Religion is usually more focused on control, fear, dogma, what you need to do to connect to God kind of thing. Spiritualism is completely different from that. It's not of the man-made. I say one of the cultures that I think that really had spirituality down is the indigenous culture, the Native Americans. Lived in community, lived off the land, warriors when they needed to be, teachers when they needed to be, lovers when they needed to be, respect for one another, and how they were portrayed as just a total fallacy, based on our history of when, we pretty much drove out and did a genocide here in the United States, at least of 120 million estimated, re-education. So I believe the indigenous culture really had a spiritual connection, knew that the land was not theirs to own, lived on the land, lived with the land, respected the land, that kind of thing. And that's what the spirituality pathway is. So Bernadette, does that make sense for you? again, there's a double truth here. So this, a lot of times when we get the double seven, that means that there's going to be some truths that are going to come to light, and that is not always easy when we work into the truth construct. It's like, oh, sometimes ignorance is bliss, or I didn't want to hear that, right? But it's like when you see it, you can't unsee it. When you hear it, you can't unhear it. You can't, once the toothpaste is out of the tube, you can't put it back in. Once the genie's out of the bottle, you can't put it back in, right? So I hope that makes sense to you, my friend. If you want to just comment down below, I'll finish off with that last question. So, all right, y'all. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope to see you in a couple Wednesdays for the next podcast. There'll be an encore show on the 24th, and then we'll be back. Hopefully, we're going to pre-record at the end of this month for a show on May 8th. You will want to check that out if he confirms. I'm looking forward to talking with him. Very well-known spiritualist, psychic medium, somebody I've learned under for years and admire and follow in his journey and his work. So I'm honored to be talking to him for the first time on Inspired Living. No show for Meetup next week, which will be the 19th. Hopefully, if I'm feeling better, I'll be back on the 26th. If not, we'll be hopefully back on the 3rd. Just remember, if you become a member of Diamonds Hub or Patreon Prospectors, that first Friday, which will be May 3rd, is open Q&A at 11:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and then 3:30 Pacific Standard Time afternoon, and morning sessions for those subscribers in case I can't sync up with you, or based on your schedule where you live, because we have people from all around the planet. So hi, Brandy. All right, Bernadette says this: thank you so much for your guidance. It helps my journey always. It makes sense with my path. Okay, just like I said, pay attention to the sevens. The sevens, that pattern, that language that I talk about, the sevens come up a lot, whether it's, the clock or a song or, a movie. It's so interesting. So pay attention to that, because that's part of the truth. Whether you want to hear it or not, that's what truth is, right? So I'm glad that helped, Bernadette. And again, thanks for being a subscriber. I appreciate you. And I appreciate all of you. Thanks for tuning in. I hope to see you again. And if I don't, then I will, just know that I'll either see you here in the physical incarnate world, or I'll see you on the other side of the spiritual decarnate world, because it really is, as my book reflects, it is a world between worlds, and what's going on in the journey. So we'll close out with a better place. Let me get that queued up. Until our next soul adventure together, be kind, be caring, be compassionate, and most importantly, wherever you're out in this world, dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live, and discover the diamond within. I'll see you next time here on Metaphysical Meetup with Marc live on Facebook, or over on my YouTube channel, Soul Adventures. And until then, have a great rest of your day, a lovely weekend. Breathe, carpe diem, and I'll see you next time. Take care, buddy. Namaste.
When we're all in a better place, when we're all in a better place, if the wind blows free from the treetops to the ocean, why can't we be in a better place? Shards in the sun, and it rains on everyone, and everything's undone and broken, until we're all in a better place. Yeah, we're all in a better place. When the water flows straight down to the ocean, why are the lines so hard to trace? You. I don't want you to change. sea to shining sea, the way it used to be. Remember, we were all in a better place. Here we were all in a better place. Yeah, the river runs wild, nothing is for certain. Why let this moment go to waste? Are you ready for that grand embrace? Right here in a better place. Yes, yeah. Oh, oh, oh.
One planet, 7.3 billion people, only one you. Life offers us many opportunities and learning experiences. Are you ready to explore and discover this beautiful planet, the life and energy all around us, the spiritual world, and what is unseen, along with your own personal soul adventure? Marc Lainhart, the intuitive prospector, is the spiritual connection you have been prospecting for. Internationally known as a tested and professional clairvoyant medium and spiritual advisor, Marc's work as a metaphysical teacher, medical instructor, radio show host, inspirational writer, and hiking guide are here to help you on a journey of self-discovery, healing, inspiration, education, and a whole lot of spiritual awesomeness. Dare to dream, dare to explore, dare to live. For more information on Marc's spiritual practice in Seattle, Washington, please visit marclainhart.com or internet search The Intuitive Prospector.